Hello and welcome to this special presentation on the collapse and why it will happen. It will. We are experiencing now a collapse globally, collectively. It all appears to be going down the toilet, and it will happen. There's nothing we can do to stop it. There isn't. There's nothing we can do to stop it. It's going to be what it's going to be. It is the movie, it is the program. Well, how do I know this? When I came across the human design knowledge, it brought together everything else I had gained and learned over the previous 30 years. You know, it made sense of everything. It was like a lock and key. You know, all the information, everything I'd been through, it fucking made sense once I came across human design. Hence why I've created human geometry, because human geometry is really living the life, integrating the understanding of one's potential. Now, this video is about the collapse that's happening right before our eyes. And most people are pretty much out to lunch when it comes to this one. Okay, all these theories and all this, you know, the elites are doing this and this is going on, and they're planning to do this, and this was a conspiracy, and blah, blah, blah. And then there's all these spiritual people saying, well, you know, it's the Anunnaki, and then, it's the angelic lineage that is, the aliens, the reptilians that are underground, they're controlling and they're eating children, all of that, okay? And a lot of it's bullshit. Now, here's the thing. The reason I say bullshit is that there's nothing, it's not like someone pulls out a fucking reptilian and says, see, look, there's a reptilian right there, see him? And everyone goes, oh, fuck, it is too. A fucking reptilian. You're right. Now, there's just no evidence. Okay, so what do we have to go with on that? We have to believe it. And the only thing that requires belief is fiction. So we make up incredible fictions about this and that. We try to dream up all these spiritual concepts. I know plenty of people that have done it. Even my mentor, he's out the gate. He's out the gate. But I look at his design, he's got a completely open arch and I know this guy hasn't had one original thought. But has he grasped every concept? Oh yeah. But no original thought of his own. I know that. And that's good. I know he's quite ignorant to he knows his design, but he doesn't live his design. He's still my mentor. Funny, right? Because I laugh at that one, because I'm a projector. He can't mentor me. He can't. He can lead me. He can lead me, but he can't mentor me. I'm a projector. I'm a 6'3". I'm all about him, by the way, because the 6'3" profile is the most transpersonal profile there is in the human design system. Being transpersonal, wow, it's fucking hard, because it's got nothing to do with me. Everything I do is about the other, and because I'm a projector, I'm only interested in the other. I'm not interested in me. I don't care about me. And that's okay. People get really distressed. Just recently, I had a massive meltdown. My sister and my mother come in, an intervention. We're really worried about you. We're worried about this. And I'd had a really bitter moment because I wasn't being respected by anybody. I just don't get respected because everyone's not self. Here I am busy trying to be as self as possible. And I tell you what, it upsets people. It does. And I said to them, and they're trying, and I said, look, you need to give me a chance here. I'm going to get out of your aura, because they don't know much about design. I said, can you sit over there? Because they're both emotional types, right? And they're all wound up. And I said, you're going to wind me up. I have an open solar plexus, and they go, we don't bloody understand this human design bloody bullshit. And, you said it made you happier, and it hasn't. They're like, it's making you bitter. And I said, look, I will always be bitter if I'm not being treated correctly. I've been bitter my whole life, mother. My whole fucking life, because you haven't respected me. Not your fault, by the way. No, I'm a projector. I can blame better than anyone else. Because we see everything others don't see, you see. So we can blame them for this and blame them for that. And we can kind of get away with it, because the thing is, The projector sees so much more than the generator. They can run fucking rings around the generator. But here's the thing, the projector needs the generator to survive. Needs them. Otherwise, they'll just slowly die. The projector life. Now, let's get to the point, back to the point of this video. Because you know me, I'll fucking digress. But I tell you what I've said here, what I have shared here, my genius to freak, if you watch the whole video, it will all make sense. Yes, there's a bit of this, and then something else comes in, and I digress, and I fucking go off track. But that's because I'm a freak. It's in my design. Again, I digress. Okay, the collapse, and why it will happen, and there's nothing we can do about it. Because you see, archaeologists, anthropologists, historians, oh yeah, they look back in time and they see this and they say this is this old and it was around this age that this happened. But there's something that they all share in common. They can never work out why certain civilizations just like that disappear. Just disappear. You know, and so what they do is they start blaming it on cataclysms. And, you know, I'm not saying they haven't happened. They have. There's been cataclysms and floods and all sorts of horrific, you know, to the human it's horrific, but very natural processes that happen on this earth that could wipe out whole civilizations and all that sort of thing. It's all part of it. But you see, it's all part of a program that we have no control over. Now, we would like to say, and anyone would say to me at the moment, they go, but we do have control. I know I have control because I made this choice and I made that choice and I planned this and it worked out how I thought. Yes, that's because we are in a background frequency of what's called the cross of planning. This last 411 years, 410 so far, once we get to the end, 411 years, this past 411 years, which is a cycle of a background frequency of a collective incarnation cross, because we each have an incarnation cross. We come in with a very specific imprint to ourselves, which is your purpose. Now, you don't begin to live your purpose out. You don't begin to, you start planting your incarnation cross, why you've incarnated, what you're here to do, and you live it out through your profile. And this cross that you come in with is what you're here to bring to the collective, okay? And it's also what you're here to experience through your life. It's your purpose. But we also all incarnate in a window of time. Like, if we look at the collective, there's a bunch of us right now that have incarnated at this time, and so we share a collective cross as well. Now, your personal cross is deeply individual to you, and depending on whether you're transpersonal or whether you're personal or transpersonal, because these less left-angle crosses, they are transpersonal. They are here for the other. I'm a 6-3 profile. I'm the last of the profiles, which means I am the most transpersonal being you can get. Now, and being a projector, deeply transpersonal to the individual. I will make your life my life. I will make it all about your life. Everything I've done. That's why, 6-3 profile, trial and error, married 3 times in my third marriage. In my third marriage now. Could be a fourth, who knows? It's trial and error, bonds made and broken. People with 6-3 profiles, I just about guarantee you they've been married more than once, because it's the trial and error, and it's trial and error with the other, through the other. The transpersonal person is here to live with the other person, the other person's life. It's all about them, especially if it is a projector. It's doubled up all about them. And that's why projectors, especially transpersonal projectors, can get very, 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 very bitter. Because they make it all about the other person, and because the other person is fucking not self, then that person ends up damaging that projector. Especially if that projector is not self as well. especially. Now, if that projector is living their design and they are living as themselves, well, they'll get out of those situations pretty quick if it's not healthy for them, especially if they're splenic. See you later. So why do I bring all this through? Because there are so many different types of beings, and we all have a different idea, but collectively we share a cross. Collectively, we've all of us that have incarnated at the same time, we are living under a background frequency that causes us to all collectively, as a hive mind, I guess you could say, that we all collectively are kind of on the same trip. Okay, you're on an individual trip with your own cross, but then collectively, as I always say, we go alone in this life, but we go alone together. Okay, so you go alone in this life because you're alone. You are. Integrate that. Integrate your aloneness. No one can jump in your fucking vehicle. No one. I don't care who you are. A projector gets a fucking taste. Don't you worry about that. Projectors have a penetrating aura that goes into the other person's G center when invited and grasps their magnetic monopole and extracts DNA information. It's not like we've got the data in there and we're no. If that person has invited us and they ask a good question, I've got this thing going on, I'm trying to, and the projector will guide them. Oh, so what is it that makes projectors guides them? Because they're fucking gripping your magnetic monopole. This is your direction. That's what directs you. And you're not self. So you don't know how to follow your direction with efficiency and efficacy. You don't know how to do that. And you won't. Not unless you've got a projector in your life. Not unless you have enough awareness to invite a projector. Now, generators out there, they start living their design. They begin over time with their open enveloping auras. They begin to be able to recognize who a projector is. You see, projectors are here to be recognized, but ultimately they're here to be recognized as a projector because they're not here to work. They're not here to work. As I said, meltdown with my mum, my sister was here, and here they are. I needed the fucking invitation. I was yelling at my daughter because she was being a real bitch, and well, she wasn't really. She just fucking said the wrong thing, and I was already bitter. I had a fucking enough. I'm going through my Chiron return. I'm only 2 years into my process. I haven't deconditioned yet, and yet I know this knowledge, and I know I still have 5 years of deconditioning to go. Just because I haven't done my process fully yet doesn't mean I don't know human design. I do. I know the mechanics of it. I understand. I've studied it. I'm a projector. Human design is here to be studied by projectors. Jovian Archive, where that is the original hub that Ra Uru created for human design knowledge to be learnt, he would give a discount to all the courses, to projectors. A discount, only projectors. Why? Because we see what others don't see. We are built to study and take in shitloads of information. My sister used to say to people, just ask my brother. He knows a little bit about everything. No, I don't know everything about, I do. I study. So I do. I know a little bit about everything. But what I do is I master things. It's what projectors do. They're here to master things. Don't worry. By the end of this video, everything's going to make fucking sense. But I can only do long form because this information is so deep. You will not find anything else that affirms itself, confirms itself, in which when you go into this knowledge, it will, if it's correct for you, it will help you know who you are. It will give you a blueprint as into the correct way to live your life. I'm a 6'3", projector, splenic. I have to explain to people, look, when I say no, I don't know why. Because I'm splenic. I don't know why. So I can't give you an answer. Oh, why not? I don't know. But if I don't listen to my spleen, shame on me. Because if I don't listen to my spleen, I will get fucked up by you. And that's what I was talking to my mother, my sister about. I said, no, look, I have not been respected here. And they were, we respect, oh no, they were fucking, I said, you guys are both emotional. You need to sit down and stay over there. And I came and sat in my chair and they're like, 4 meters away. Now, why did I do that? Yeah, this is where the awareness comes in so good. Because I can't be in their aura because they're both emotional types. As soon as, and they said, we need you to calm down. And I said, that's why I'm stepping out of your aura, because you're both wound up. And you're going to wind me up, and I'm going to be twice as frustrated as you. Open sacral, open solar plexus. Okay, I have the awareness. Now, here's the thing. When you have awareness and others don't, it fucks you up. It fucks you up. Because people just don't get it. They won't get you. And so what a beautiful moment I had. I said, just give me that, they were threatening to, because I was having like an existential moment. Okay, but what it was for me is just that my foot going down and I'm realizing I have not been respected. Because I know I'm a projector, and there's no way they could have respected me without understanding what it means to be a projector, and they don't. I said to them, I have a nephew who is non-verbal autistic, okay? I said, we only, in our sort of family, we're talking, I come from a family of 5, of course, my parents and my brother and sister, and then we've, all had kids, and so I'm talking about the family being from grandparent to grandchild. And I said, in our family, we only have 2 projectors. Now we're talking about, so it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of us, okay, from grandchild to grandparent. 12 of us. Out of that 12, it's round about right, okay, but out of that 12, there's only 2 projectors within that group, and one's non-verbal. Non-verbal autistic, but I can see him. Oh, he is a projector. I know things about him everyone else doesn't know. So I basically told my sister and my mother to shut the fuck up and sit down and respect me for once and listen. Because I said, you don't fucking listen. And they go, all right then, well, if we sit down and listen to you, are you going to listen to us? And I said, I will. Is that an invitation? They said, it is. I said, you're going to need to keep your mouth shut. Because I'm a non-emotional type. And you bringing your sacral at me is going to wind me the fuck up. No, we don't understand this. I said, you will in a minute. Sometimes it takes these existential fucking explosions to be able to truly get it across, right? Now, here's the thing. Because they respected me in that moment. There was an invitation. They said, you share first. Well, they didn't have much to share after I fucking got the fucking floor for 10 minutes. I'll tell you, people have not respected me because they would not ever listen to me for that long. Even if they've been listening to me ranting for a long, long time, I can feel when they've tuned out. So I withdraw a lot. I have the gate of shock. I withdraw a lot. People aren't listening. See ya. Fuck you. So why do I bring this up around collapse? I have been going through a fucking collapse. I've been going through a collapse. Now I have the incarnation cross of incarnation. In my bones is the memory of all the cycles of us as humans. I know it's all about to shit itself. I'm quite excited. Because I don't live an easy life. I don't. I'm a 6'3" splenic projector. I'm like, good, it's shitting itself. Fucking anyone else can feel the pain I felt. Very not self of me. This collapse is going to happen because we're coming to the end of a cycle. We're coming to the end of a cycle of cycles. We're coming to the end of a cycle of cycles, and these cycles are frequency. They are frequency. Okay? And so every 411 years, the collective moves into a new collective, or a different, I should say. It's not new, but they cycle back into another cycle. Because these cycles just go round and round and round and round and round. Now, these cycles are 400 years. And what happens is we have a collective background frequency that causes all of us as a collective to individually, bring our individuality, but you'll be bringing your individuality under a background frequency that is still moving you towards a collective ideal. Now, we're in the cross of planning at the moment. The cross of planning is all about the bargain. It's all about the tribe. It's all about the continuity of the tribe. The tribe brings what each one brings, and they all, put their bit in the middle, and it all gets divvied out, so it's fair. In the cross of planning, when it started out, it would have been so exciting. Hey, you know what we could do? We could strategize, and we could, work together. And what if you go, well, I've got this, and I've got this, and we bring it all together, and I'll put my bit in, and then what we can do is we can distribute that. How are we going to distribute that? Okay, yeah, good. We need kind of like a governmental body or something to be able to distribute that, and then that gets kind of put out there, and these different laws. Laws are begin to be and rules made about how we do our planning. So it's fair. But then what happens is, just like anything, when there's a birth of a new age, just at the start, it's fucking messy. Think of birthing. It's messy. It's messy. But what happens? It's a moment in time. And, what we're going through at the moment are birth pains. Birth pains. Okay, and contractions. We're going through birth pains and contractions, and we are now giving birth. That's why this has to collapse. In order for birth to take place, for the mother that is giving birth, the best thing she can do, the most affordable thing she can do for her and child is to fucking relax. And she can't have stress around her. I tell you what, babies don't come through. They won't be born if there's a father in that room that's fucking stressing out and pacing and all of that. The baby won't come through with him. No, fuck that. Too much stress out there. Fuck that. I'll stay here. Thank you. Now, if we can't relax during this time, it's going to get even uglier. The birthing process is going to be drawn out. So I know that we can go through this. It's still going to be messy. This whole collapse of the background frequency. What happens? The reason why we see a collapse on the mundane material plane. Well, not the mundane, but on the material plane. Why we see the whole system collapsing is because the background frequency is fizzing out. And as I said, we're coming into a new background frequency, which is called the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is deeply individual. It has nothing to do with the tribe. And we go into a 6th line theme, which is embodiment. Now we're in the 1st line theme at the moment. The 1st line theme in human design, I'm talking collectively, the 1st line theme is all about investigation. And so right now we're coming into this, we're all like, look at all the information that's coming out. And everyone's wanting to know. We have to know. We want to know. And we need to know. We have to know. Because if we don't gain the knowledge we need now, as we move into the next cycle, we're not going to have what we need for that cycle. We're not going to use all of it, by the way. But this is our last chance. Right now, that over the next sort of 15 months, we were in October 2025 right now. But if we don't gain the knowledge, this is why it's all coming to the top. All the conspiracies are coming out, all the knowledge that is hidden. If you look right at the moment, what we see, and this is, this is all shown by human design, as we see all this knowledge coming to all the things that have been hidden coming to the top. That's what the first line is all about. It's about building a strong foundation. Now, if we all dive in, look, right now is not a time to be ignorant. It's just not. The worst thing you can be is ignorant in a first line theme. And that's why we see so many people waking up. We wake up every fucking 400 years and then we go back to sleep. Because, of course, we go back to sleep because we move into a frequency we don't understand, we don't know it. We've got to integrate it. What the fuck is this? Why are we don't even know why we're doing it. It changes everything we do as a collective. And then you've got your own cross to carry. As Christ said, carry your own cross with fear and trembling. Because it's not, I've got the incarnation cross of incarnation. I'm a 6-3 profile projector, so what does that mean? Well, I know what the fuck is going on. You better fucking invite me if you want to know. I can tell you, I've had no one disagree with me. Well, I have plenty of people disagree with me, but they find it very difficult to fucking argue with me because I'm not going to fucking bullshit them. I'm a projector. And I'm aware of that. I know the mechanics of that. So this collapse that's happening to the cross of planning every 411 years. Okay, so we've been 410 years in this cross of planning. And have we been planning? Oh, yeah. You even hear it at the moment. In the conspiracies coming out and all that people say, oh, it's all planned. It's all planned. Oh, it's all planned. Oh, COVID was planned and this was planned. And now digital ID, plan. It's cross of planning. We are all trying to make a plan. Not good for projectors. Not good for projectors. Not for a splenic projector like me. I can't make a plan. That's why I don't like this cross. I don't. Just being honest. It's fucking bullshit. But the new cross that is coming, I'm looking forward to that. Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix. Deeply individual. But guess what? I'm not an individual. I have individual circuitry. I do. But I have an incarnation that is transpersonal. Not about me. Couldn't give a fuck. Don't care. My wife she doesn't like it. I'm like, well, if I live till then, darling. And she goes, oh, do you have to keep talking about you dying? So you talk about it like it's just like it's such a casual thing. Yeah, because, well, I have the incarnation, cross of incarnation. We die. I've already integrated that one. I'm a 6-3 profile. As my son said to me, he goes, when is it all going to be worth it for you, Dad? I said, when I take my last breath. A 6-3 profile. Very, very difficult for me to be able to appreciate the difficulty of my life until it's fucking damn near over. I'll be able to look back and go, oh, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. It was. Right now, it's not fucking worth it. I don't like the pain of it. I don't enjoy it. Because I live in a not-self world. And people think the Messiah is coming and all of that. Wakey fucking wakey. Everyone. Because it's crumbling. It's disintegrating. The ship is going down. But we don't have to go down with that ship. We don't have to go down with the cross of planning if you have awareness of what is coming. And we're only talking like 15, 16 months. No, not long. As one cross is coming in, the other is going out. And I've explained this in other videos. Well, on my Facebook I have. It's the last cross, the cross that we're coming out of, the cross of planning, all of everything we gained in that. So what is it just over and that's it we walk away from? No, everything we gained out of that, what it does, it crumbles down to nothing, but it's compost for the next cross. It is the fertilizer. There will always be things that we will carry over because that's part of the evolutionary process. We don't just drop things and start all over again. No, it carries. And so each time, because every 7 years, we'll find ourselves going back into certain cycles. Every 7 years, we go back into the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So with the cross of the vessel of love, and then after 7 years we go back into the cross of the Sphinx, and within that we have the cross of the sleeping phoenix, we have the cross of planning, we have the cross of contagion, we have the cross of consciousness, the cross of rulership. All these crosses we go through, but we always every 7 years come back to this lock and key. Every seventh 400-year cycle, and I get your head around that. Every seventh 400-year cycle, we come back into that lock and key. It's always moving between, back and forward from the cross of the vessel of love and the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And so each time we come back through these cycles, it's not like we just come back and then repeat what was done before. No, there's been all this composting energy that has gone from each cycle that then is part of the very DNA expression, vibrational frequency of the next cross. But again, it's like a caterpillar. The cross of planning will disintegrate. But what that cross of, that we can say right now, the cross of planning is like a caterpillar, and the cross of the sleeping phoenix will be the butterfly. But you see, the cross of planning is actually the butterfly of the cross of consciousness, which was the 400-year cycle before that, which I have stated it was the age of Tartaria. And people can argue with me on that one. I generally run rings around people. I've got a 43-23, I can argue well. And I don't know what I know. So even I shock myself. When I'll just say something and people, oh, fuck yeah, I didn't think of it like that. So you've got to be careful if you're going to argue with me. I see more than you if you're a generator. With the projector, I know when I'm dealing with another projector, they often will be projecting things I just don't see. This cross of planning is disintegrating, and it will. So just relax. Because we are giving birth collectively. We aren't. It's going to be birthed through us into a new age. What we're giving birth to is a new age. Interesting, because you can look into the Bible when Christ talked about, or you even hear any of the writings in the Bible, they talk about forever and ever. Doesn't make sense. You do your fucking research and you'll understand that forever and ever is just fucking ridiculous. I looked at that and I was like, what? This is well before I knew I was a projector. But I can look back over my whole life. I've been a projector my whole life. I just didn't know. Now I know, and I realize why I thought I was so fucked up. With the last of the profiles, I'm not interested in what everyone else is up to, but I'm interested in them. Weird, right? Difficult. Projector, I'm not a generator. So, as I say, only being in a family full of generators, just getting conditioned to fuck, and no one knows that they're screwing me over. And of course, I don't say anything. Because I've got an open solar plexus, I want to avoid the confrontation and the truth. I've avoided the truth my whole fucking life. Sad. And you know what? I can accept that. I can integrate into my life that it's sad. That's what my mother and my sister said after I told them to sit the fuck down and give me 10 minutes. And they said, well, will you listen to us? And I said, Mum, you need to, and here's the thing, you're an emotional type. Now, I know what you're going to do. You're going to cut me off. Now, you need to keep your mouth shut till I'm done. And they said, well, how do we know when you're finished? You ask me, are you done? And I'll say, yes. Thank you for respecting me and shutting your fucking mouth so I could finish what I'm saying. My wife has done it to me over and over and over. And, she's a generator and she knows this knowledge, not like I do. I have to fucking remind her all the time. I'm like, darling, let me fucking finish. You're going to piss me off. You don't want that. Because you know who's going to win the argument. I don't want to argue. I want to avoid the confrontation and truth, but that is the not self. So for me, it's, I don't avoid the confrontation and truth. I grow wise around that now. But what I've grown wise with is like, this is just a big shift for me. That's why I'm up at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. Revelation, something dropped away, and then I realized, the only way I'm going to be able to live this life as myself and be accepted for it is these people who are my family better fucking know I'm a projector. Otherwise they could just fuck off. I'll still love them and they'll be in my life. But I'll be keeping my fucking mouth shut. And what they said was, oh, right. Okay, well, that makes sense, right? They were ready to fucking take my kids away. Right, we're going to grab the kids and you're fucking not here. Jesus, sit down, shut up, and fucking listen. Oh, yeah, right, okay. Well, we didn't know, yeah. And you're right about, and sure, okay. Yeah, that's what I got. I got the 10 minutes. I fucking stood my ground, and I said, you need to fucking listen. And now I say it to you. And if you've got this far, well done. Well done, because I'm a projector. I'm not easy to listen to. I'm a genius to freak. But I transmit the truth, and I transmit what is safe and secure for the tribe. I'm here with the incarnation cross of incarnation to remind everyone that we go through these cycles and patterns, and we're going through it again. Okay, I have deep awareness of the cycles and the patterns. With the 44 in my Sun Core Essence, the Gate 44, coming to meet, alerting people to what is coming. In my unconscious Sun, I have the Anarchist. So unless people understand that, oh, you're just being difficult. No, I'm an anarchist. There's nothing I could do about it. Just as much as when it comes to these global cycles, when it comes to these collective frequency shifts, we need to understand that we carry this cross. It was always going to be planned through this life. But we're moving out of that now. And in just over a year's time, that background frequency is going to be different. So any kind of trying to carry over into that age, what we have been doing in this age will not work. There will be people that will try to do that because they're not self. And so what happens? It gets messy because there's the mother that gets confused midway through giving birth. I can't do it. It's just not, Relax. Relax. Breathe. Embody. We're here. You're okay. You've got this. You're just giving birth. Okay. Don't be frightened. Especially for a mother that's giving birth for the first time. Every time we go through a cycle, it feels like we're doing it for the first time because we've all forgotten. For the majority of people on this planet, this is their first incarnation. Because we have to have new crystals coming in because so many are trapped on this planet because they never got to leave the body. Well, they left the body, but they never got to leave this plane because the body was not respected. It wasn't left for the up to 72 hours that is required for the personality crystal to detach from the body. And therefore, what happens if it doesn't get to leave the body, it will not reincarnate. It will be stuck here till the end. It'll be picked up by a rogue crystal bundle, which are all over the planet. What's a rogue crystal bundle? They're those things that people call ghosts, angels, demons, gods, aliens. But depending on your design and depending on your conditioning is what you see. Those people that, I saw a fucking ghost. Other people say, I saw an angel. I saw an alien. It's just a rogue crystal bundle. But you see, what happens is when you see these things or detect these things, you are projecting onto this rogue crystal bundle whatever has conditioned you. So if you've been studying aliens, well, of course you're going to fucking see an alien. You know, we project on, it's a transference. I wasn't meant to talk about that, but I don't get a choice. This is how I deliver things. It goes here, there, and everywhere. I don't get a choice in this. But I'm able to transmit information through my ability to structure what needs to be said in the moment. And as I said, if you look back and if you went through this video again, you'd see that all these bits and pieces work out together. Now, here I am talking about my sister and my mother wanting to fucking take my kids off me because I'm having a fucking meltdown. But then, you know, today, why are you talking about that in this transit, which is all, in this video, which is all about, you know, the collapse? Well, that's because I was going through a fucking collapse. And then I said to them, you need to fucking listen. You know, I've never really said that to them before. They were ready to walk out the fucking door. They said, you're fucking bitter, you're angry. I said, I am. Now listen. Because my whole life you have not listened to me. We have listened. No, you haven't. Because now I know my truth. Now, would you be interested in hearing mine? Well, as long as you listen to us. Yeah, all of that. It was ugly. But what I did is I respected myself. I said, this far and no more. This far and no more. So just, yeah, that only happened yesterday. And then by the end of the day, I was able to send it because they heard me. And I'm like, oh, right, yeah, okay. And because they wanted to, but they said, ever since you got into this human design, it's just, you're so bitter. And I'm going through my Chiron return. I'm going through a huge healing. You guys are not asking me any questions. You don't respect me. Well, you do respect you. No, you don't respect me for who I truly am. You don't. I'm sorry you don't. And most people don't. Well, what makes you think you can say that? Because I know I'm a projector and you don't know I'm a projector, so how can you respect me? Well, you know, you don't understand what it means to be a projector. You're a fucking generator. You're ignorant to that. And it brings us back to the cycles. People are ignorant of this. They keep going, oh, there was this empire and that empire, and it all ended because this rock came out of space and boom, and got the dinosaurs. And you know, we tell these stories and we try to work it out and strategize and all that, you know, oh, you know, we've worked it out. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Because all these anthropologists, historians, and archaeologists, they're always scratching their heads saying, we don't know what happened to the civilization. It's like they just got up and left. That's what can happen when the background frequency shifts. We stop doing what we've been doing and we start doing something else. And that which is before, give it 100 years, is then forgotten. You know, we say things like, oh, well, they've suppressed this knowledge and suppressed that knowledge and all that sort of thing. No, we've just forgotten. And yes, there is suppression of knowledge and all that sort of thing. But that's because, you see, that's what you would do if you needed to plan to control people. Look, planning is the most controlling thing you can do. It's really the cross of the not self, if you understand human design. Because when you're not being you, well, you're not self. As a 6-3 projector, I need to wait for the invitation. And then I need to accept the invitation or not via the authority of my spleen. Now, if I do that, I'm correct. If I don't, I'm not. It's that fucking simple. There's 2 things I can be in this life. Correct or incorrect. And that applies to everyone. This life, right now, we are at a point that we've never been in before. We are at a point that you incarnated at a time where we actually get to witness moving through a background frequency shift. How many people have you heard talk about our evolutionary process like that? We're always talking about the material plane. Oh, this happened and that happened, and then there was a war, and that's why this empire rose up. No, it's all frequency. That was 44 right then. It's all frequency. I don't think I could have nailed that one even more. It's all frequency, vibration, energy. You see, there's more information passed through your aura than there is in your body. But what are we all about? What is the cross of planning about? It's about planning. This is, when you plan things, you're strategizing, which is a form of control. And what I know about this movie, about this program that we're in, within every different cycle of incarnations, within every cycle, there is this how do I put this? Within every cycle that we go through, there's a forgetting and a remembering. Now, all the other crosses and all that, they all have their own nuances. They're so very different from each other. But this one that we have of planning is as I said, these in human design, there's the not self theme. That's when you're acting out of your conditioning, and then there's the true self, where you're acting out of the definition in your body graph. When we in the cross of planning, it just so leans itself to the not self, because the not self wants to try to control this life, wants to try and control this life. So what we have are these elites that are deeply not self, and yet probably quite self. We have to have the binary, you see, especially in this cross of planning. As far as you've got to have the good and the bad. But you see, this cross planning, I call it the cross of the not self. We've really gone through the energy of the not self. I don't think there's really a cross in which you could see more not self coming through, because of how much conditioning is there. Because you see, when we make a plan, we are planning to condition the other. The whole point of a plan is trying to condition the situation so it goes your way. And that there is the greatest of all illusions. It's the greatest of all illusions, because there is no choice. There's no choice. And that's a video for another time. There is no choice. And therefore, the fact that we're in the cross of planning, that's the illusion in this cross of planning, that we think we do have a choice. And so we plan this and we plan that, and then we pat ourselves on the back and say, look at what we did. You didn't have a choice. The cross of planning has forced you to plan, and you think that you planned to make the plan. You didn't. The background frequency did. The vibration. As I went to say before, more information is passed through the aura than any other part of our being. But we are not conscious of that. We're going through a grand awakening, because I'm kind of, I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what's coming through for me, is that we go through these shifts, and how it affects all of us is the way it needs to affect us as we're going through this, shifting from one cross to another. And when you think how fortunate we are to experience what that is going to be like. Now, I know I'm going to be able to sit there at the time that the background frequency shifts, and I am going to. I'm going to tell everyone to fuck off and leave me alone while I sit down and feel this come in. Because I know when I sat down, my Chiron return was turning up. I sat down at 44 minutes past 10, and I felt it come in. I felt the shift. It was like a package was delivered. Here's your new personality, because I'm a 6 light. And I was like, oh, fuck. Now I'm actually going to be able to, and it's funny because I just see 49 minutes. That's when my Chiron return came in my 49th year. Funny that, right? Synchronicity. I see synchronicity all the time. You see, when you're awake, it's all synchronistic, and no one's in control. No one is in control. No one can be in control. So we're fooling ourselves when we say, oh, they're trying to control us. Yeah, they are. But they're not in control of that. It's the movie. It's going to be what it's going to be. The only thing we can be as we go through these shifts and changes in background frequency is either ourself or not. That's it. And you don't even have a choice in that. Choicelessness. We don't have a choice. This is going to crumble. This is going to collapse. It has to. And it's not like it's being forced to happen. It's the program. It's like watching a movie. You know, you've already seen the movie before. Let's say, well, I have. You know, I'm watching the movie. Watching the movie, I've seen it before, and I know what's coming up next. I can see the part that's coming up next, right? And I could tell people, and I could say, "This is the part coming up in the movie," and they'll go, "How do you know it?" Well, I've seen the movie before. Oh, okay, so you've seen the movie before. I don't believe you. Well, that's fine. Hold tight, and you're going to see that what I was talking about is correct. Now, that's been my whole fucking life. I've had so many people that cut me off and say, "Well, that's not true." I'm like, fucking shut the fuck up and let me finish. I feel like I've never been able to finish a sentence in my fucking life. I'm splenic. I need to say what I need to say right now. Otherwise, I won't get a chance. I don't get a second chance. I don't get a second chance as a splenic projector. And we don't get a second chance in this life. We don't. You just get the one chance. And there's nothing you can do about it. But if you're aware, if you're awake, that should bring great relief. If you're not aware, if you're not awake, you're going to shit your pants because you want to be in control and you can't. And that's the thing, is we deny truth and we go, no, we can control it. Look, in the cross of planning, we've all been propagandized to the limit. It's interesting that this knowledge came in the cross of planning, towards the end of the cross of planning, within the final, so we go back, within the first line theme, it's the final 80-year cycle of the cross of planning. It's actually the last half of the 80 years. This knowledge came in 1987. That's 40 years. Okay, that 40 years, which is a tenth of the cycle itself. That 40 years is that place of where it's kind of like you look in the Bible. Christ spent 40 days in the desert, and the Israelites spent 40 years, 40 days for Christ in the wilderness, and then the Israelites, which was a mirroring from the Old Testament to the New, spent 40 years in the desert, in the wilderness, right? 40 years is when you can kind of say that a generation has kind of passed. We look at generations at like every 20 years. Really, a generation, you could say, is 40 because it's halfway through a life cycle. And so we see these generations taking place. We've been given a generation of time with human design. I mean, hardly anyone understands human design. And it is here for this moment. And it's here for projectors to wake the fuck up so they can wake up the generators. Generators are 70% of the population. And the projectors are rising to the hierarchy. We are going to be at the top of the hierarchy. And I know I am either nothing I can do. I have no choice. And I know I'm here to play a major role in that because I'm awake. I have the incarnation cross of incarnation, and I can, in a weird way, I kind of have this remembering in my bones of the cycles that we go through. And here we are. I've incarnated again with the incarnation cross of incarnation with the final profile, 6-3 profile. If I do incarnate again, which I won't. I'm done. This is it. I'm finished. My crystal. And if people respect my body when I'm dead, then It's going to be interesting to, I'm not going to know. Fucking consciousness, a personality crystal will probably be incinerated in the sun. Ra Uru who brought this knowledge through, he's not incarnating again. He knew that his personality crystal was going to be incinerated. And in many thousands of years from now, all the personality crystals that have gone through these incarnating processes, they'll all be shipped off to, what's the name of that moon? Oberon, which is a moon of Uranus. And all these crystals will sit there for fucking ages before then there's another whole thing that goes on. I'm not going to go into that now. My point here is that we are going through something we just have to go through. My mum and my sister said to me the other day, yesterday, they're like, but you're so unhappy. I said, I'm a fucking 6'3" projector living in a not-self world. Of course. I'm only 2 years into my process. I'm going through my deconditioning process right now. You know, on a cellular level, I have another 5 years to have this body deconditioned, and then I'll actually be me. At the moment, I'm going through the process of trying to be me. And if you could just fucking listen, because they wanted to rubbish human design, but I told you, and like I say, there was an invitation. I told them, give me 10 minutes. And it's funny because they said, you're going to listen to us. And in the end, they didn't have anything to say. You see, this knowledge can really take the sting out of life. It can really take the sting out of life. I mean, I get stung all the time. Just fucking used to it. 6'3" profile. Like I said, I'm designed to get it wrong over and over and over. And I'm designed to continue to keep trial and error. That's what I role model. Keep on keeping on. Give it another go. Don't give up. Oh yeah, I feel like giving up all the time, but I don't. We go through these shifts. We go through these cycles. This is just what we go through. The collapse is going to happen. It will happen. There is nothing we can do about it. But here's the good news. We move into a new cycle. And just like I said with birth, it's messy. This is the messy bit. These are the contractions. We're feeling the contractions, and we're about to give birth. Birth won't take place until February 18, 2027. That will be the birth of the new age. Now, when the baby comes out of the birthing canal, mess, fucking blood and shit everywhere, literally. I mean, that's not a threat. That's the way it is, especially in this cross of planning, because it's very not self. As I said, I call it the cross, or the background frequency of the not self. We have been so not self, we can't believe it. No one's being them. We've had a schooling system because of the planning that has taught us and told us how we have to be. And it's not correct. This is the age of incorrectness. What a life we live. This world. What an incarnation. What a time to incarnate. For me, my last. For you, we should find out. We shall find out. And we won't, because you'll forget. That's what happens with the incarnative process. Because when that personality crystal reincarnates into a new vessel, because here's the thing about the personality crystal, is that it keeps reincarnating. The design crystal does not. Once we die, that design crystal drops into the earth. We're a binary consciousness, by the way. A binary. We're not a singular consciousness. We live in a biverse, not a universe. If you look at it, there's duality and binary everywhere. We live in a biverse. I mean, prove me wrong. But as I was saying, the mess of birth. And the sadness of death, that's the other thing we're going through. See, we haven't given birth yet. We haven't given birth yet. What we're experiencing is a background frequency that is dying. We're all at the bedside of the cross of planning. We can all look at it and say, thank you, cross of planning, for what you brought. You know, the first couple of 100 years would have been amazing because it just brought advancement. And through planning, we thought, shit, we can do this and we can do that. And we can plan and feel like we're in control, and we're not. We're not. We feel like we are. And that's the cross of planning. We feel like we are. We even insist that we are. Listen to the politicians. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. It's the cross of planning. It's the illusion. The cross of planning is the illusion that we're in control. And we're not. And people are waking up to that because the cross of planning is dying. It's breathing its last gasp. We almost only have one more year left to go, and it will be gone. It'll be gone, and it's not coming back. It's not coming back. And we'll be in the cross of the sleeping phoenix, an age of embodiment. We have not embodied in the cross of planning. We embodied the cross of planning at the start. Because of the precession of the equinox, the global cycles go backwards. Our incarnation crosses go forward, personal. Well, they don't really go forward, but yeah, it's a different movement. This incarnation process, we all, many of us, this is definitely not my first incarnation because of the incarnation cross of incarnation. I would say my crystal has been doing this from the fucking start. So I say this is my final incarnation because I'm actually embodying the cross of that. This is my last fucking chance. And here's the funny thing, there's nothing I can do about it. It's going to be what it's going to be. I just have to watch the movie. I just need to relax. And then what happens is I birth my true self. You need to give birth to your soul. But it's not like you can choose to do that. Okay, I'll give birth to my soul. No, it's something that will happen or it won't. As we go through the death of the cross of planning, there's going to be great mourning. Huge grief. It's what we're feeling now. The grief and the sadness and the sense of loss that is really driving the program and all the chaos that we're going through is that the background frequency that we have been in for 400 years is coming to pass. And this is the incarnation process, you see. When death happens, birth happens. Birth and death are simultaneous all the time. When a baby is born, it dies to the womb. When a mother gives birth, the woman dies, and the mother is there. The mother is what's left. You see, when a woman gives birth to a child, there's two births that take place and two deaths. The baby dies to the womb and is born to the world. The mother, the woman dies to herself and is born to the child. She becomes a mother. Binary process. Death and birth. Birth and death. One and the same. One and the same. So as we witness the birthing of the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is deeply individual, and I can talk about the cross of the sleeping phoenix in another video. But it's us, truly, there's two things going on here at once, the binary. There's a death, and simultaneously, there is a birth. And what we do is we carry on. We see it all the time. People die, we carry on. People are born, we carry on. We just carry on. The illusion is death and birth. You were never born, you'll never die. But in the illusion, in the Maya, it happens over and over and over and over. and it never ends. And that's our process. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, this presentation on the collapse and why it has to happen. And of course, as you can see, I talked about a lot of different things. But I've got so much to share, and I have no choice in the way that it comes out. So if this did come out in a way that you found fascinating or interesting or inspiring or whatever it is, or if you found it annoying, whatever, I don't know, throw some comments in there. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have questions, I'll answer them. I will. Because I have a defined ego, and I just made the promise. So I will, if I see them. Because I don't check shit. I don't know what I'm doing. But if I see it, I will answer. Because your question invites the projector to project so that you can see that which you don't. Life is a beautiful experience when we live it as ourselves. And when we let go of control, if we let go of control, at this point that we're in, then we can truly allow ourselves to give birth without all the pain. It's difficult, yes, but without the anguish. Yeah, there's pain. There's pain. Life is pain. Life is suffering. I'll leave you with this, because one time I was sitting there and, I'm praying to Spirit and whatever, and really what it is it's a monologue. And I said, what's with all this fucking suffering? I mean, what's the fucking point? I was having a lot of difficulty with my wife and a few things. Anyway, at the time, this was a couple of years ago. What's with all this suffering? Like, well, what do I do here? And I get this impression, probably my spleen, but I get this impression, or I used to say, Spirit would say, well, you could just leave. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. No, because if I leave, then I'll suffer. And Spirit said to me, or the voice said to me, well, then suffer what you love. Suffer what you love. We have the opportunity to love the cross of planning, to be grateful for everything it's brought into our incarnative process. But it's becoming compost for a new age. There's going to be some of it that we're going to draw the essential nutrients that the cross of the sleeping phoenix needs from the cross of planning, but that cross of planning is not coming back. We're going to watch it all burn to the ground, and no one is in control. Once you realize that you're free, no one's in control, no one, then we get to live our life. We get to see the movie. We get to relax. Birth takes place and death is accepted. And until next time, bye for now.